Welcome to the Senior Safety Advice Podcast. This podcast is all about helping older adults and family caregivers live with more safety, confidence, and peace of mind at home. I'm Robin Schiltz, and for more helpful support and resources, please visit us at seniorsafetyadvice.com. So today I want to talk about something very human: anger, frustration, that feeling of being upset, tense, or just plain fed up. Most people do not like to admit when they feel angry, especially older adults and caregivers. Many people were taught to keep those feelings inside, to stay pleasant, to push through, to not make a fuss. But anger doesn't go away just because we ignore it. It often shows up somewhere else. It can come out as sharp words or a short temper, or trouble sleeping, or a headache, a tight jaw, a heavy feeling in your chest, or that sense that even small things suddenly feel way too big. I've seen this many times in older adults and in family caregivers too. Sometimes the anger is not really about the small thing that's happening in the moment, it's about the loss underneath it. The loss of ease, the loss of strength, the loss of time, and the loss of the way life used to be. That matters, because when we understand that anger is often a signal, not just a problem, we can respond to it with a little more wisdom and a little less shame. One myth about anger is that it means you're mean or ungrateful, and that is simply not true. Anger often means something feels unfair or hard or painful or out of your control. Another misunderstanding is that good caregivers do not get frustrated. Well, that is not true either. Caregivers get tired. Older adults get tired. People who are doing their best still get overwhelmed. Feeling frustrated does not mean that you're failing. It means that you are human. Now, that does not mean all anger is harmless. Obviously, words can hurt. Stress can wear down your body. Tension can affect your blood pressure, your sleep, appetite, your relationship. So it is very helpful to notice anger early on before it builds into something bigger. The first step is simple. Just name it. You might say to yourself, I am feeling really frustrated right now. Or, I am angry because this is so hard. That sounds small, but it can help more than people realize. When you name what you feel, you begin to separate yourself from it. You're no longer drowning in the emotion. You're simply observing it. That little bit of space can make a big difference. Then pause before reacting. Now, not forever, just for a moment. Take in one slow breath and let it out slowly, then do it again. In working with older adults, I've noticed that the body starts reacting before the mind catches up. The person's shoulders rise, their hands grip, their voice might get a little more short. A short pause can interrupt that chain reaction. And sometimes that pause is enough to stop a hard moment from becoming a hurtful one. It also helps to ask a question. What is making this feel so big right now? Maybe you're tired, or you're in pain, or you feel ignored, or you're embarrassed because you need help. Or maybe you've been carrying something for too long. The question gets you closer to the real issue, and once you know the real issue, you can respond more clearly. For example, if pain is making everything harder, well then the answer is not to calm down. The answer might be to sit or rest or stretch, or use heat, or call your doctor, or change how you're doing the task. If exhaustion's the problem, you may need a break more than you need a pep talk. The frustration is coming from doing things that have become physically hard in this example, and then that means it may just be time to adjust the task. But that doesn't mean give it up, that just means adjust. This is something that occupational therapists like Esther think about all the time. They look at the fit between the person, the task, and the environment. If getting dressed or bathing or cooking or moving around the house has become harder, frustration often follows. Not because the person is being difficult, but because the task no longer fits as well as it used to. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to make the task easier. So help the person use a shower chair, or you yourself sit while you're preparing your food. Keep daily items within easy reach. Allow more time. Take one part of a task at a time. Those changes don't take away independence. They're often, very often, protecting it. There's also a quiet kind of anger that comes from being talked down to, and older adults feel this deeply. No one wants to feel managed like a child. So if you're a caregiver, your tone matters. Even when you're tired or you're repeating yourself for the 100th time, respect can lower frustration levels faster than almost anything else. And if you are the older adult listening today, well, keep in mind that your feelings do matter too. You are allowed to say, please slow down, or please let me try it myself, or I need a minute, please. That is not being difficult. That is just speaking up for your dignity. Another helpful tool is movement. Anger creates energy in the body and it wants to go somewhere. Now, you don't need to do intense exercises to get rid of this energy. Usually folding some towels or stepping outside for fresh air or doing a few stretches or taking a short walk, that can be enough to release some of that built-up tension. Somebody who feels stuck, irritated, and restless, I've seen them after a little movement and a change of setting, they get out of that mindset for a second and it kind of lets their mood shift a little. Not always completely, obviously, but sometimes enough to think more clearly or slow down and not react so strongly. Words can help too. Some people calm down by talking with someone they trust. Others do better by writing things down. So you might want to keep a small notebook and write a sentence that says, I'm angry because blah, blah, blah. Finish the sentence honestly. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to have deep insight. You just need somewhere to put that feeling down. Sometimes a simple habit like journaling can help keep frustration from spilling out onto the wrong person. And here's something else too. If anger is happening often or it feels stronger than usual, pay attention. Frequent anger can sometimes be a sign of depression, anxiety, pain, poor sleep, medication side effects, grief, caregiver burnout. In people with dementia, frustration can also rise when they feel confused, rushed, overstimulated, or unable to express what they need. That doesn't mean something terrible is wrong, but it does mean the anger deserves a closer look. You don't have to solve that alone. Sometimes the next right step is talking with a doctor, a support group, a counselor. There's strength in getting support before things get worse. And for caregivers, I want to add this. You are not supposed to absorb stress endlessly without being affected by it. If you snap sometimes, you are not a monster, but you do need care as well. You need to take breaks. You need some rest. You need to talk to someone that you can talk to honestly. You need moments that are only for you. I've seen caregivers who love the person so much that they carry their frustration around until it scares them. But what helped was not guilt. What helped was support and relief and permission to be human. So if anger or frustration has been with you lately, try to meet it with curiosity instead of judgment. Notice it and name it and pause and breathe and then ask what's really underneath it. Then make one small change that supports your body, your mind, or your environment, because that's often where calm begins. Not in pretending everything is fine, but in caring for yourself honestly. If this topic speaks to where you are right now, please be gentle with yourself. You do not have to fix everything at once. Start with one small step like a breath or a pause or a kind word to yourself. Little restful moments can lead you back to steadiness and safety and confidence. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope this episode gave you a little comfort and a few simple ideas that you can use right away. For more tips and resources, please visit seniorsafetyadvice.com. And if you're looking for aging in place professionals in your area, visit aginginplacedirectory.com. Please also subscribe to our podcast or to our YouTube channel. And until next time, this is Robin wishing you safety, calm, and peace. Thanks for listening today. Take care. Bye.